masses which are renewable in nature. Okay, from that only we can extract easily energy, we can extract easily. So there are so many renewable energy resources, right? On that, biomass is one of the important. Okay, so here biomass which used to be on recurring basis and renewable basis, all those organic matters, it can be, and it is one of the unique renewable resources, biomasses. Why? Because it can directly be used as a fuel, or sometimes it can be converted to some other product, byproduct, or product also, and used as a fuel, like cow dung. Cow dung is also a biomass. Okay, and it can be converted to other form as cow dung cakes, right? That also used to be used as a fuel. Okay, after that, directly coal and other things, coal, firewood, other things used to be consumed directly as a fuel for other sources, other issues. Okay, some of the important sources you all know: woods means forest, forest woods, agricultural crops, agricultural crops. After that, biomass, what is that? Aquatic vegetation, fossil fuels, all those things. Okay, and if you are going to extract energy from those biomasses, biomasses is generated how? Through the process of photosynthesis, in which carbon is fixed through some mechanism. Okay, so carbon is fixed through some mechanism, that is also a form of stored energy. Okay, so in biofuel generation, what we used to do, some of the biomass where energy is stored as CH bonding. Those energies, how it can be extracted for other beneficial uses. Okay, so whatever material you are going to use for the extraction of energy, whatever material means biomass material you are going to use to extract the usable energy, those materials will be called as biofuels. Okay, so here what it is, that it can be defined as the biomass material where energy is fixed through biological carbon fixation and the recovery of same energy for other purposes. So whatever recovery of energy in form of oil, right, petrol, biogas, okay, those things will be considered as biofuel, fuel generated from biomass. Okay, fuel generated from biomass, that is biofuel. Okay, so firewoods is what? Directly dry woods or leaf or dead parts of some agricultural harvest. Okay, organic waste, all those things can be used as biofuel to generate the biofuels. Here, next we used to come to the point, what are the major classification of biofuels, right? So there is no clear cut classification that this much classes of biofuels are. It's not like that. Broadly, it is classified on the nature, what kind of raw material is used to generate the biofuel, and what is the nature of final fuel. Okay, so see, classified on two broad classes. What is that? On basis of what? The raw material used, and what is the final product generated. Okay, so most of the time we used to generate either liquid or gas as a biofuel. Okay, so here first generation, first classification, two broad classification: first generation biofuel and second generation biofuel. So in first generation biofuel, what it is, in these kind of, in first generation of biofuel, most of the time we used to use relatively soft biomasses which is grown above ground, like some edible plants. Okay, some plants which we grow generally edible above ground plant biomasses, like sugar cane, oil seeds, crop grains, all those things that can also be their raw materials, those extracts or those waste material can be used to generate the biofuels. Okay, so if it is like that, raw material is used like that and going to generate some biofuels in form of liquid or gas, in that case we will be telling it is first generation biofuel. Okay, whereas what is second generation biofuel? In that, the raw materials whatever is used to generate the biofuel, that used to be relatively lignocellulosic or somehow harder materials, not softer, as compared to first generation biofuel. Okay, so here lignocellulosic biomass, corn stalk, rice husk, these things used to be somehow more complex, more complex and somehow harder in nature. Okay, so if some biofuel is generated by using these materials as a raw biomass, right, then these cases, the materials biofuels generated, those biofuels will be called as second generation biofuel. Okay, now in your syllabus it is world resources. World resources. Okay, so world resources is what? World resources is what? See, there are so many natural resources across the globe, across the planet. Okay, so whatever natural resources is available, and those available resources is going to support the livelihood or living entities by any way, then it will be called as resource. If some of the materials are available but that is not going to sustain the life or useless, then you cannot be considering that for that particular one, that it is resource for them. Okay, so what it is, it can be defined as the most of, it can be defined as in most logical thing, the natural resources of earth upon which the different races depends for food, shelter and owned collectively by races instead of being private property of any social parasite. That means the resources of whatever resources is available on earth, that is going to sustain some of the living entities and their sustenance. Okay, and on the available resources, each and every one is having equal right. Okay, so those kind of, in those things, those resources used to be called as natural resources, and on those resources, natural resources, each and every one is having equal right. Okay, so while defining world resources, in that so many conflicts also arises. Okay, but whatever is defined by different UN Council international committees are natural resources is air, water, fossil fuels. Fossil fuels, you all know, coal, petroleum, natural gas. After that, minerals, underground minerals, biodiversity. Biodiversity is also a natural resource. It includes all forest, that means flora and fauna. Okay. After that, soil. Hmm. So one estimate, one estimate as per the research, some of the researches on by international bodies, one estimate is there that every year biomass production by natural vegetation is 100 billion tons per year in terms of carbon. Okay, whenever we are estimating biomass, we used to estimate in terms of carbon. Okay, that how much carbon is stored. And one more estimate is there that if 1 ton of biomass, 1 ton of biomass is burnt or Either it is burnt or it is converted to some usable energy. Okay, easily usable energy. Then the energy was recovered, which is equivalent to 1500 to 3000 kilowatt hour. You must be knowing that in your home current bill will be coming this much watt, this much watt, this much unit. Okay, so it is equivalent to that. Now in your syllabus, food crops. So food crops are what? Food crops are what? That whatever crops is cultivated, whatever crops is cultivated for the purpose of production of edible items. Okay, edible items, and edible items mean that mean consumption, eating purpose, whatever is conducted, those are called food crops. Okay, so in India, most of the food crops are what? There are variety of food crops, but major classification in India is Kharif crop, Rabi crop, and Zaid crops. So Kharif crop are what? I think you all must be aware. In Kharif crops used to be somehow water intensive. Okay, water intensive means more water requirement, like rice, jowar, bajra, maize, groundnut, sugarcane, turmeric, pulses, like this. Okay. After that, Rabi crops somehow less water intensive, relatively less water. Okay, and Kharif crops usually cultivated during the monsoon season. Okay, during the monsoon season in India, whereas Rabi crops used to be cultivated during the post monsoon season. Okay, whereas Zaid crops, some cucumber, vegetables, okay, all those kind of things, these used to be relatively or least water intensive. That means for these crops like vegetables, not required, that much water is not required as much you are needing for rice and wheat. Okay, Rabi and Kharif crops. So these major variety of food crops in India are Kharif, Rabi, Zaid. Okay, what is the difference? Kharif is cropped or cultivated during the monsoon season in India, Rabi in post monsoon season, whereas Zaid crops pre-monsoon season. Okay, during the summer season, most of the vegetable cultivation used to happen. Okay, after that, Woody crops, woody crops are what? Basically, these crops are cultivated for the commercial purposes. Commercial purposes means for some industries, to generate the raw materials for some industries. Okay, some industries like paper, pulp. After that, some of the biofuel industry or vermicompost industry. Okay, so for them we used to cultivate some of the woody crops. Okay, which used to be relatively harder in nature. Their biomass used to be harder in or hard cellulose, complex cellulosic components used to be in those. Okay. After that, commercial planting. Commercial planting is what? Commercial, as per term itself, it is known that basically these plantings are done to gain the economic benefits. Okay, or economic earnings. Okay, so in this, what we used to do, first of all, we used to cultivate, propagate, and maintain those kind of commercial plants in different set of environment. Okay, commercial planting, in that what we used to do, that we are going to cultivate it for commercial benefits. Okay, monetary benefits. So first of all, we used to take care that their propagation, cultivation and propagation should be managed properly. After that, whatever produce, whatever fruits or whatever yield has been generated, those things should also be processed. because you are going to keep in your mind commercial benefits, right? So in commercial, some of the examples of commercial planting, some of the examples of commercial planting, orchards. You all must have seen orchards. Those are the big farmlands in which basically fruit trees used to be cultivated. Similarly, silviculture. Silviculture is what? One practice in which natural vegetation as well as some of the social forestry can be done in that. Okay, to meet the different needs. Okay, after that, arboriculture in which we used to cultivate specific trees or shrubs. Okay, turf culture, you all know turf culture. You must have seen lawns, cricket grounds, football grounds. In that, some specific kind of grasses used to be cultivated, right? Those kind of practices are also one example of commercial planting. Okay, after that, ornamental plants. Okay, designing, decorating, all those things in lawns. Okay, after that, oleary culture. This is vegetable culture. Okay, so whenever you are going to cultivate, vegetable culturing is also for the commercial gains, right? Floriculture, floriculture also, in which you are going to cultivate flowers. Pomiculture is fruit culture. Okay, or it's a study is called pomology. Viticulture is specifically devoted, viticulture is cultivation of grapes. Okay, after that, onology or oniculture, onioculture. In this in this it includes all kind of stages from starting to ending winemaking. Okay, so this is only culture, and all these things are examples of commercial planting. Okay, any problem? If you have any problem, you can uh, come in chat box and let me know. Okay, no problem. If any of you have any issue or till now any problem, you can come in chat box, go to your status bar. There more option will be there. In that chat box you can ask me. Okay, I think none of you are having any issue. Okay, now in your syllabus, one terminology is natural vegetation. So you all know natural vegetation. There is the difference in natural vegetation and artificial vegetation. Sometimes people used to get confused. Natural vegetation you should clearly keep in your minds. So those vegetation which is not affected for long time by any human activity or any artificial encroachment. Okay, so those kind of vegetations only can be considered as natural vegetation. See what it is. It refers to a plant community which has grown naturally. This is also important, that vegetation has been grown by itself. Okay, none of the people have gone there and cultivated something. Okay, grown naturally without human aid. Okay, and has been left undisturbed by human for a long time. Okay, so these kind of vegetations only used to be considered as natural vegetation. This is also called virgin vegetation. That means there is no anthropogenic influence on those vegetations. Okay, so natural vegetation used to be used to be generated or grown by itself naturally. Okay, so in different kind of terrains, in different kind of landscape, different natural vegetation used to grow naturally. Okay, so it depends that in what kind of vegetation, in what kind of terrain, what kind of vegetation will be growing, right? So it used to depend on some of the factors. Okay, so three main factors, three key factors. I am not telling only these are the three factors. In addition of these three, there are so many other factors also, but these are the key factors whatever I am going to talk here. First is terrain structure. Terrain structure means landscape structure. Okay, what kind of that terrain is, whether it is mountainous, hilly, plain, flat, okay, slopey. So what kind of structure it is, accordingly variety of vegetation will be growing on those terrains. After that, edaphic factor, that means if it is hilly, mountainous and plain, their soil characteristics will also be different. Okay, so soil characteristics is also important, that what kind of vegetation will be growing. It depends, it depends that what are the nutrients available in those soil. Okay, so soil type, texture, moisture content, etc. Okay, after that, climatic factor. Climatic factor includes temperature, rainfall, photo period, that means for how long sunlight is coming there. Okay, so these are the three key factors which used to decide what kind of natural vegetation will be growing by itself on a given terrain or on a given landscape. Okay, so always keep these 3 points in your mind. In addition of these three, there are others also, but all those points, other points can be included in these three. Okay, okay. So in India, what are the major natural vegetation, major type of natural vegetation? So there are five in India. Natural vegetation, distribution of natural vegetation in India is classified basically in five classes. Okay, major types are tropical evergreen forest, tropical evergreen, tropical deciduous forest, okay, tropical thorn forest, mountain forest, mangrove forest. So these are some of the specification. These are some of the specification. Okay, like type of vegetation and what are the key characteristics for the, through which you can identify that which type of vegetation it is, natural vegetation it is. So tropical evergreen forest, in that heavy rain. Heavy rain means 200, more than 200. Heavy rain will be there. Annual average rainfall is more than, used to be more than 200 centimeter. And dry period, that means summer seasons, used to be very short. Their duration used to be very short. Okay, and in those kind of forests, average tree height is used to be up to 60 meter or more. Okay, average tree height. After that, in this kind of vegetation, tropical evergreen green forests, you will be finding or you will be getting all kind of natural vegetation like trees also, shrubs also, creepers also, lianas also, all kind of things you will be getting. Okay, and multi-layered. It is not specified that it will be existing in this part and other part it won't be. It is not like that. It may be existing everywhere, all three layers, it may not be existing also. Okay, in tropical evergreen forest. Okay, second one is deciduous forest, tropical deciduous forest. This is basically monsoonal forest. Okay, monsoonal forest means during the season of monsoon, Okay, during monsoon season, all forest will be too much green, too much greenery. Okay, and in this rainfall, average rainfall used to be 70 to 200 centimeter. Okay, abscission means shedding of leaves. Okay, every year you must be seeing that now it's season. Okay, February onwards in India, most of the places, most of the parts of country, February onwards, the leaves, shading of leaves of various trees used to start. Okay, so in tropical evergreen forest, shading of leaves, for that there is no definite time. But in deciduous forest, it used to happen during dry season, dry summer season, because here relatively dry period used to be little longer as compared to tropical evergreen forest. Okay, so here abscission time used to be 7th to 8 weeks. Okay, 7th to 8th week in dry summer. Okay, after that, tropical thorn forest. Tropical thorn forest, by name itself, thorn it is, so there must be less rainfall. Okay, so minimum rainfall is, average annual rainfall is less than 70 centimeter. Okay, here thorny trees, scrubs, bushes, all those things will be available. Okay, after that, succulent plants also. Okay, after that, mountain forest. Mountain forest is what? Mountain forest are classified basically on basis of elevation. With elevation, it used to vary. Too much variation used to happen. Okay, so if mean sea level elevation, because it's a mountain, if you are talking it's mountain, then it will be too much slopey, or terrain won't be uniform, it will be undulating. Okay, uniform terrain won't be there, so suddenly height will be increasing from mean sea level. So if terrain is at the height of 1000 to 2000 meter, okay, so in that stretch of mountainous terrain, okay, in those stretch 1000 to 2000 meter wet temperate forest. Okay, wet temperate forest means these forests used to be too much green. Okay, big leaves. Okay, after that 1500 to 3000 meter, 1500 to 3000 meter, there temperate forest. First one is wet, second one is temperate. Temperate means somehow drier situation. Okay, that means they are getting, these forests are getting somehow less rainfall. Okay, so here structures will be coniferous forest. Okay, most of the trees will be having structures of cones. After that, again, if you are moving upwards, 3000 up to 3000 or above that, okay, then it will be alpine forest. Okay, or alpine forest or simply grasslands. Okay, after that, mangroves. You all know mangroves are tidal forest. It used to be existing in oceans or near the oceans. Okay, so here this figure is showing that how different natural vegetation across the India is distributed. Okay, so you can see here maximum portion of India is in light blue color. Okay, what is that? Tropical deciduous forest. Okay, these things, all these things are tropical deciduous forest. Okay, so maximum area of India covered under tropical deciduous forest. Okay, you can see Western Ghat where you are available. This is Western Ghat. Okay, Karnataka, Kerala, some parts of Maharashtra. Okay, Western Ghat, what is this? Tropical evergreen forest. Okay. Hmm. After that, tropical thorn forest. See this one, Gujarat, Rajasthan. Gujarat and Rajasthan tropical